Good afternoon, everybody. This is Tracy Armstrong, owner-operator of North Pittsburgh Greeting Company, the area's premier welcome wagon service, welcoming all the new homeowners and new business owners to the ever-growing North Pittsburgh area. Today, I'm speaking with Christopher Ego of Tricycle Learning Centers. Right now, a lot of parents, such as myself, we have 16, 17-year-old children, and ACTs, PSATs, and SATs are all now in the forefront of our minds. And Christopher is going to talk to us today about how tricycle learning can help prepare your child and what to expect with SATs and some exciting news about what he's going to be doing at one of our local schools pretty soon. Christopher Ego, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Great. And what's new with Tricycle Learning Company this month?
Oh, lots. We've got no. We have a class going at the Rosie Schneider YMCA starting on Thursday for our SAT program. So that's been going strong, and we also have a talk with Seneca Valley. We're going to be talking about differences between the SAT and SAT and all those acronyms and GPA. Trying to get students and families ready for the upcoming years before that push into whatever higher education they're going for.
And the SATs, ACTs, I know my son was just talking to me about this. They are getting rid of the optional essay. How does that really affect the students?
I think their hands are going to feel a lot better at the end of the test,
Okay.
just because they're not having to write, an essay. The essay was originally, it's become really formulaic and really
Okay.
easy to just write it. So taking out the optional essay is, I think it's good. It's less subjective, and now students can really focus on the multiple choice part. But I think it's a welcome kind of change because they don't have to spend an extra 45 minutes in a test that they've already been spending like 3 hours in. So I think it's a
I
good
know
thing.
my son was relieved to hear that the essay is not, it's not part of it. He's a little concerned about it, but
Yeah.
I know he was relieved. I'm sure there's a lot of kids out there who are relieved about not having to do the essay. However, that does not mean you don't have to do essays for that college application. So it's not like
Yeah,
you completely got out of it.
yeah. There's always work to be done, right? I
Always work.
think Yeah, I think it's good though because I think colleges are now seeing like what's really important to what makes up a student. So a lot of people are, they're also questioning like, do I still have to take an SAT test because some tests are becoming test optional. So there's a lot of changes happening, but they should be welcome changes.
And you just coined the term test optional. Why are so many colleges seeming to become test optional? And what does that mean? Because that I mean, as a parent, I'm hearing test optional. So you saying Pitt does require the tests and Penn State don't? I mean, that's what I'm interpreting it to be. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. I'm
Right.
probably am. Can you answer that question for me?
Sure. Yeah. So the College Board, they've been taking a pretty big hit in the past year because now a lot of colleges they've used this COVID time to say, okay, like what? So how do we deal with students not having the test? So some colleges, including the UC system, have said, we're just going to get rid of this altogether. Some schools are like, well, let's say test optional. And test optional means that although you don't have to take it, that will still accept your scores. So I think it's still really important to take them if you have a positive score, meaning somewhere like above the 70th percentile.
And,
Yeah.
and why should students still take the SATs and ACTs if the schools aren't requiring it?
Even though they don't require them, they're trying to get a more diverse population. Um, these are data points that they can use to decide who you are as a student.
Okay.
Increasingly, I know, with Naviance or a lot of these portals that families have, colleges can really get a good snapshot of who this student is, what kind of courses they're taking, the degree of difficulty. But really, you don't really know how that fares against the rest of the nation until you put a standardized test in front of them. So I think it's good that some of these colleges are getting rid of it, but a lot of colleges are still they're asking for these data sets because the numbers in a lot of ways they don't lie.
Yeah, no, they don't. Numbers don't lie. We know that there are extra experts at training for the SATs and the SATs. Why should students focus on and how can Tricycle Company help them with this?
Okay, so if we're not, I mean, let's say tests go away completely, we're not going to go away. We're going to, I mean, the whole profile of a student is academic, and that means that, their GPA, like we've always said, it comes first. And that's the main focus of all students, is to make sure that their GPA, not just, finish your homework. It's about helping the student realize like what's important to their academic like interests, like getting them excited about learning, like getting them excited to pursue whatever they want to learn about. And that's really what's important for these 4 years that they have as high schoolers.
And what I mean, I am a Seneca Valley. A majority of people who are watching me right now are Seneca Valley parents. And we just got an email this morning about Tricycle Learning doing a program for Seneca Valley parents and students this Thursday. Could you please tell us a little bit more about what's happening?
Yeah, so we're doing a talk with in partnership with Seneca Valley. We're
Mhm.
going to talk about the differences between the SAT and the ACT, kind of like we're doing today. We're also going to talk about the changes going on with standardized testing, and I'm sure a bunch of families are going to feel like, so what's important now? What do I need
Mhm.
to focus on? Really, I encourage any family that whenever you hear college or whenever you hear, graduation and you feel that little bit of like anxiety, to come to that meeting, just come by and stick around for a half an hour, for an hour, and ask any sort of questions that you have, because, in the end, college prep was never meant to be, it was never meant to be a big part of your life. This shouldn't be a stressful time. This should be a time when we see like what our students really want. So that's why I'm excited to do what we do.
And can you tell us, it's this Thursday, February the
Uh,
4th, and can you please tell us what time that will be for any Seneca Valley parents out there who are watching?
that's February the 4th, and that is at, let me let me check the time. It's going to be, because I'm over on the West Coast, so
I
that
believe
means
it's one
it's going
o'clock.
to be that's 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time.
See, I'm reading the emails. What a good parent I am. I'm reading the emails. Christopher, you are always such a wealth of information. I know personally we're going to be utilizing you in the next year to get our son prepared. I've know a ton of people who have used your services for their children or are more than pleased. I know the Rosie Schneider YMCA, just they think so highly of you and your knowledge and your educational base. And what people don't realize is you, maybe it's your personality. You work really well with teenagers. I mean, you really do. You have the pulse on teenagers and what they like, and
It's the
maybe
maturity
your
level. I
lack
think
of immaturity. I
the,
don't know.
the maturity level is about the same. I think I kind of that's
Yeah,
where
maybe your wife could chime in and go, "That's because he acts like a 16-year
my,
old."
no, I
No,
mean that
you're a very brilliant man.
we really I mean that's I mean I went to a college prep high school, over here
Mhm.
on the West Coast, and I think one thing that I learned really well was that there shouldn't be a secret. Like these things that we give our students and helping them become better people, it shouldn't be accessible only to those who can pay big bucks for
I
it.
agree.
So if you know anybody, if any of the parents out there know anybody or groups of kids who are struggling, financially, or for any students that need this kind of assistance but can't afford it, that's who we want to serve. We want to make this education available for everybody.
Because everybody deserves an education,
That's right.
regardless of where they came from or regardless of their economical backgrounds. Everybody does deserve an education. And we also have to remember that there's a lot of children out there who college isn't their forte. And people do need to realize there are tradesmen out there who make 95, $150,000 a year. So,
Right.
if your child is, if you're sitting there, and I know I have two girlfriends who just know their sons college isn't the path for them, and they're getting their children prepared for other steps. And just because college bound isn't for your child, that doesn't make your child, I don't know, less successful. I mean, it just means they're going to be successful in other avenues of life, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one of the biggest telling things that we do with our families is, we talk about all these goals that we have for the students, and then I kind of put the question back on the parents. It's like, well, where did you graduate from, and how are
Yeah.
you doing now? And it usually doesn't have to do with what college they went to. It's tied to the same things of work ethic, right? And work ethic and knowing what they want to do and having the right goals in mind. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
I didn't go to school to be the welcome wagon lady. I have the personality to be the welcome wagon lady. So you never know where paths are going to take you in life.
Right.
So
Exactly.
everybody, again, Christopher Eco, Tricycle Learning Company, he's a wealth of information. He can privately have a Zoom call with you and your student to see where your student is. If you can't afford Christopher all at once, by yourself, Christopher is more than willing to allow you to pair up a small group of 4, and you can split that cost and teach your kids. Call the Rosie Schneider YMCA here in Cranberry. They have offering classes, and I believe if you're a member at the Rosie Schneider YMCA, you do get a discount with Christopher. And again, Seneca Valley parents, it is a free seminar. I read the email came through either late last night, early this morning. I read it early this morning. It's a free seminar to Seneca Valley parents and students. I know we'll be sitting in on that seminar. If you had to pay for this seminar, it costs you a couple $100, which the school district is, I guess, picking up the tab. So it is well worth your hour to sit and to listen to Christopher and think about your child's future. Have your children listen in on this, because it's their futures. It's not ours. It's their futures. And Christopher, he's a wonderful rapport with teenagers and whatnot. And I know, like for me in the Armstrong home and a lot of other people, you think 18 years is a long time? Oh, 18 years, 18 years. But boy, 2.5 years, my son's going to be in college, and that comes quick.
Yeah.
The days are long, but the years certainly are short. And you think, oh, I have time to prepare. I have time to prepare. And then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's January. Your child's a sophomore in high school, and you have 2.5 years to think about all of this. And as a parent, it can be overwhelming.
Mhm.
SATs, ACTs, financial aid, the whole gamut can be very overwhelming. So
Right.
allow Christopher to take some of that emotion off of you. Maybe he'll let you relax. And again, especially Seneca Valley folks, listen in this Thursday, the 4th of February at 1 o'clock. And Christopher will be able to help you and your children out and maybe calm you down a little bit. Because goodness knows Christopher will be calming me down a lot in the next year.
No problem. Anybody, if you have any questions, like that's what we're here for.
You definitely are. You're just a wealth of knowledge. Well, Christopher Eco of Tricycle Learning, again, it was always a pleasure speaking to you. His information will be put in the comments after this interview, so please reach out to him. Just a great guy, just a wonderful guy. Everyone loves Christopher. So again, this is Tracy Armstrong of North Pittsburgh Reading Company, the key to making the first impression. Thank you, everybody.